In this step, let's focus on implementing the REST API for deleting a user. We would want to be able to delete a specific user. Let's see how to implement the REST API for that in this specific step. I'll go over to our user resource. So this is our retrieve user method. What I would do is to copy that. So we'd want to be able to delete a user. So the structure would be very, very similar to that. So instead of get mapping, what we want to do is to do a delete mapping. We would want to delete user. Let's do our organize imports. You would see that delete mapping is imported in. So you can see org Spring Framework web bind annotation delete mapping, which is imported in. That's good. So what we want to do is in the user DAO service, we would want to be able to implement a method to delete a user. So what we want to do is something similar to this, but to delete. So I would say delete by ID. We'd want to delete the user by ID. And I would make this method not return anything back. So I'll say void delete by ID. I'll use the same predicate. I would want to match by ID. And the great thing is in functional programming, there is a very, very easy way to remove a matching object. You can say users.remove if a predicate matches. So if the ID matches, we are going to remove the user. As simple as that. I'll do a Control D or Command D. And you can go ahead and save this. So we have our delete by ID method ready. Let's go over to our user resource. In here, what I'll do is instead of calling find one, you'll be calling dot delete by ID. And this would not return a user back. So let's delete it. And for this one, I don't really need to return anything. So I'll remove all the code which is present in here and I'll make it void. And this would return a successful status back. So if the delete is successful, you'll get a 200 response back. Let's save this. Let's go back to our Talend API tester and let's actually send a GET request to all users. To send all users. Right now we see 3 users come back, 1, 2, 3. So I'll pick up one of them. So /2, for example, and I would want to send a delete request. So you want to send a delete request to this URL. I'll say send. I'm getting a response back saying 200. That's cool. So what I'll do is I'll send a GET request to users and say send. And now you can see that only 2 users are coming back, Adam and Jim, ID 1 and 3. ID 2 does not exist anymore. So we are now able to successfully delete a specific user. In this quick step, we implemented the delete method for our user REST API. I'm sure you're having a wonderful time and I'll see you in the next step.